No, it's number 7. I forgot to change the title. Look, it's been a really rough week. Okay. But I will say, I think I think my mic has sorted itself out. So everyone that's been complaining about it for like the last month now, I think it's fixed itself. Maybe. We'll find out later. Yeah, finally. Well, that's it. It can't be, can it? I mean, I've already seen. Sorry, I'm slowly dying. I've already seen like so many tweets of people like, oh, Elon Musk has finally bought the platform. It's gonna promote some bullshit like some capitalist propaganda or whatever it is, and they're leaving the platform. They're leaving Twitter, and going to some other social media platform. That's not going to solve your problems. You're going to get shit over there as well. I mean, you live on the internet. Like you can't escape that shit. It's everywhere. Like you're going to have eccentric assholes operating these these platforms. Like that's how it is. No, it's opinionated people getting offended. Uh. What? It's just you, Kaza. Yep, it's just you. Everything's coming through. No. Oh, something every fucking week. Uh, I'm gonna have to stop the stream and start it all over again. Why did it? Well, then technically, you shouldn't hear me. I don't understand it. I don't anything. Come on. I know that. What about now?
What about now?
Yep.
Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Here we go. Okay, so yes. You're not having a good time of it, are you, mate?
Shit happened, man. Like every time, every fucking time. I do one thing to fix one problem, and then something else fucking happens. All right, quick recap
don't
of
tell him
everything
that. He
we just
took
talked about.
a recap. Well, the only thing we really touch on is Elon Musk taking over Twitter. He's finally got the acquisition through. So, and then you pretty much took over. So they got all most of that. But that whole thing, as you're saying, about people disappearing off Twitter because of blah, blah, blah. I mean, that breeds into today's general topic of respect. I think the more we see from the likes of Twitter and the takeover and stuff like that, the more we're seeing a lack of respect in a lot of industries. And it kind of bothers me a little bit in the fact that we just can't seem to get that like basic concept. around,
falls into the
just
whole,
respecting
like,
each other's opinions. It's an opinion thing, and like,
yeah,
your Twitter is an opinion. It's your opinion. It doesn't mean that someone can go down there and demoralize that opinion, or that you're trying to make your opinion more than anybody else's.
I
Um,
Twitter as a platform is essentially freedom of speech. That's
yeah,
what it is. It's the same as Facebook and all those other
well,
platforms. It's a
within reason.
within reason. It's a freedom of speech, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it
But
should be.
these Karens and Kevins of the world get so
Hmm.
butthurt that your opinion is so totally different to theirs that they have to try and shut you down.
But it's not even just
preachy behavior. It's stupid.
it's not even just Twitter though. It's not even social media. It's even in the streaming sector now. Like
Oh, absolutely.
it's migrated through everything. It's ridiculous.
But all right, I'm sorry to keep like bringing this up. The Hogwarts legacy, right? Huge implications around that, right? And
Yep.
I've seen it all over social media and whatnot. It's like, if you're going to play that game, I'm unfollowing you. I'm not subbing
Yep.
to you. I'm not. You can just get out of my life. Sorry, that's if that's the
Yeah.
behavior that you're breeding. Yeah, I don't want to follow you either. Just
I mean, you can't, like, the game isn't based around that individual who's
no, it's not.
made those comments. I mean,
No,
if that's the
but
case, then why is everybody still on Twitch? Because wasn't their CEO not 5 years, not even 2 or 3 years ago, like coming out with some racist, sexist like claims and shit like that? No one batted an eyelid about that and said, "Oh, we're not going to fucking Twitch because they're
yeah,
like,
but like
oh, okay, Twitch,
even the whole
you
like
know,
day off Twitch thing. Clearly there
yeah,
were a lot of people who had the shits with Twitch. Where are they now?
yeah, back on
Still,
Twitch,
still probably on Twitch
yeah,
because they don't know what else to do. That's the only thing that they know.
and that's the thing. It's just like, well, like, just show a bit of respect and a bit of dignity about it, and just accept someone else's opinion as their own, and not force your own agenda down someone's throat.
Can't, can't. This is essentially just branching off the whole cancel culture shit.
Yep, that's
It's
100% what it is.
you've said something I don't like. That doesn't exist anymore. And I'm going to make sure that everyone else knows that that shouldn't exist.
Yep, yep, totally.
On how the fuck are we supposed to progress
Or you
as a
find
society if we continue
or
to
you
cancel
find you
shit?
get, or you find you get that 1 breeds, 2 breeds, 5 breeds, 20 syndrome, and they all like jump on it because they all think they're in the in crowd of like, oh, I'm going to jump on that because I want to be a cool kid and I want everyone to follow me. And then they realize that their statement was false and misaccurate, and they're like, oh, well, sorry for my comment, I didn't mean it. It's like, if you just shut up for 5 minutes and just think about it and go, well, maybe,
Yeah,
no,
it's not. Like, unfortunately, this is a trend that's always been a thing. I mean, it's
yeah,
been around for decades, like well before the internet.
it's just, oh
It's
yeah,
just the
it's just
internet
becoming
has helped it become what
breed.
it is today.
It's
you know,
breeding.
you go back, 80 years. The shit was still around then, but it was all word of mouth and via newspapers and the comic strips and shit. Like, it was all
But I mean,
around
like,
that.
think about it as a kid. Like, if you had your opinion, like, okay, you might have 3 mates around you who didn't agree with you. They didn't stop talking to you though. Like, you're right there face to face. What are they going to do?
I guess it depends on who you knew, really.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though is, like, you had that difference of opinion. You went back and started playing games again, or you went,
I mean, but
it's
kids are oblivious though. Like, you have differing opinions, and then like, okay, so do you want to do this now? They're like, all right,
yeah,
yeah.
that's right. It's like, say it, forget it,
really
move on.
quickly.
Like,
Yeah,
but
no. For
these,
some reason, like, as an adult, we can't seem to let go of things. It's like
no, we can't.
we start believing that something is real, and we lock onto it, and we cannot let it go for some reason. Like, that's why you can't convince people to be more open minded, because You can't.
They've already shut it off. Yeah,
That's it. They've blocked it
they
all
already
out.
closed off.
Like, well, I'll use my
We've
mum
seen-
as an example. Like she states that she's very open minded and very accepting of all these things. She really isn't. I mean, she's just sucking.
No, I mean,
she's never going to change.
no, I mean that's the thing. I mean, if you look around, I mean, it's everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, I accept that. As soon as they're faced with it, it's like, oh yeah, no, that shouldn't be happening. That's not right.
Oh yeah, it's that like, too, isn't it? Yeah, it's the talk about one thing, then as soon as you come, you confront that thing that you've been talking about. It's like, and like panic stations. They don't know what to do then, and they just shut down, or they'll come up with some other radical excuse, sort of divert from the problem. Like people aren't honest. It's like it's this thing, right? Like what when we were kids, right? We were always told, honesty is the best policy.
Best policy.
Yeah, what the fuck does everyone do? Fucking lie about everything.
They hide behind it, dude. It's not even lying. They just hide the fucking truth.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, yeah.
I mean, hiding the truth is not lying.
It's just like, oh, I kind of feel that, but, and it's just like, as soon as they throw in the but thing in there, it's just like, well, at that point, you kind of just lost me.
And we also,
like, I still respect them as an individual, but their opinion really just got lost in translation. It's just like, if you accept it, then be accepting of it. Like, if you say I'm open to hearing everybody's opinion, then have that open mindedness to accept everybody's opinion. Like, be a sponge. You don't have to use it. You don't have to take everything they say. You might only take a small little window of it and say, oh, well, that actually made a lot of sense. Now, if I couple that with what I'm thinking, that could be a really good idea. In general, like that could evolve a situation better, or that could,
See, like, I'm sort of in between all of that, right? Yes, I have my own opinions about things, and I do have very strong opinions about things. I do see certain things very black and white. But if someone were to come to me, and I love a good debate. Holy crap, do I love a good debate.
We've had a few.
Yeah, right, we have. But you know how like passionate I can get sometimes about that sort of stuff. But just if you can bring information to me and present it in a way where I start questioning what I believe, and I'm like, oh wait, hang on, and you like start knocking down that barrier, I'm going to start thinking about that more and be more open to whatever idea it was. People have unbreakable walls.
Like, they just don't.
People could have a belief, and they get presented with the truth, and it's like, I'm going to stop you right there, and just will not accept it at all.
Yeah, they just shut it down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it baffles me.
Banjax has got it there in chat. Like, don't have to agree, don't have to understand, just have to let them be and ideally consider their viewpoint to enrich your own. I mean, that there is exactly that. Like, it takes you, 3 seconds to listen to somebody. But when you literally make it near impossible for them to actually feel like respected enough to be able to view that or make that viewpoint and maybe be considered, I mean, you've just kicked yourself in the ass. I mean, you pretty much just lost that point.
Like, even as Shin just put in, it doesn't hurt to listen to anyone else's idea, even if you still don't agree with them. At the very least, you listen.
I mean, just be respectful enough not to sit there and go, "Oh, you're talking." Oh, what? Yeah. Oh, shit. Sorry. What was that? Yeah, I missed that. Like, just be fucking, respectful enough to look at someone and say, "Look, okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it makes sense, but that's not the process." Or, this is okay. Maybe we can
like
put that into the process. What? Don't use the A word in here, mate. Come on now.
Look, okay,
but yeah, exactly that. Being an adult about it, exactly.
Yeah, I would love for people to just listen, like actually listen and take things on board. Yes, it may not agree with whatever you believe in, but just the
It doesn't make
ability
it
to
wrong.
listen to it.
Mm.
Okay, we see it so much in our generation now, where people just straight up, like as you just put it, oh, you're talking, it's clearly wrong. No, I'm not listening to any of
Yeah,
that. You're wrong.
we got the no
So
generation. That's exactly what it
I've
is.
seen shit that's so blatantly obvious the truth, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people just absolutely 100% disregard it. Like, no,
Yep.
that's wrong. That's just government propaganda. Like,
Mm-hmm. And like that leads into our next couple of points. Obviously, I'll throw to you in a minute for the new points that you want to cover there. But let's cover off a little bit of respect on say a development side of things. So you're going to cover off in just a second about the new Xbox
Yeah.
Series S, and developers are whinging about it. Okay, weren't they? So weren't they whinging at first? They didn't have the option to use that feature, and now that they've got it, they're saying it's no better than the last generation.
Well, no, all right. So the original problem was that they were supporting two generations of console. I get that.
Right.
You've got your Xbox Series console, and you had to sort of make it whatever you were
The one.
developing backwards compatible with the Xbox. I
Yeah.
understand that. Two major differences in generation. I understand that argument. But you've got two consoles in the same generation with the same sort of horsepower underneath it. Just one is graphically less than the other.
Yeah.
But we have devs out there, and multiple devs reportedly, that are saying that developers should only develop for the Series X and not for the Series S, because they're calling the Series S a potato. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, right. This is what I'm saying.
uh,
This falls back to that respect thing again. Like,
yeah,
they listened and said, okay, don't worry about the older generation. We'll get rid of the Xbox One series. You just focus on the series consoles. And now they're still not respecting enough to say, oh, we don't want to. We just want to focus on the high end shit. If you really want to focus on the high end shit, fuck off to PC development. Like, honestly, I mean, that's where it's at.
Here's the thing, right? You've got Game X, right? You've released it on the Series X. It runs at 4K 60 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the same game launching on the Series S, 1440p, 60 FPS.
Yeah.
Right? You have the same game launch on PlayStation 5, dynamic 4K, 50 FPS, maybe. It's like, they're complaining about a downgraded version of the same generation console, but they can't even hit the limits. Well, they are technically hitting the limits of the PS5, but they're not complaining about that.
Yeah.
So where's the argument coming from?
But the funny thing is,
turn down some graphical settings.
But you go into the settings of those games, and what have you got? 4K, 1080, 1440. You've got all these things in there. They're already inbuilt. You can change it on your console if you want to run it at 4K, if you want to run it at, so why is it so hard? Why are they whinging so much? Because again, it falls into that respect level. It's too much work. They don't want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, the only difference between the Series X and the Series S essentially is
the GPU.
GPU power, and
that's it.
The CPU power's a little bit down as well. But in proportion, right? You look at the Series X; it's a 4K gaming machine. That's what it's designed for. That's what it does. The Series S targets 1440p. Right, the hardware is designed in such a way where it maximizes the ability to hit 1440p at high refresh rates.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't understand why this whole potato thing is a thing.
Because they just don't want to do it. They don't want to do the work on it. They want to focus on Series X and PS5. Yeah. That's all they want to do. They just want two arms.
But it's downgrading the resolution.
I like potatoes.
and we know Banjax. But it's downgrading the resolution and downgrading maybe some of the graphical settings. But they tweak those graphical settings so the game doesn't look,
Yeah,
but still
exactly.
runs great. That's fine. I don't see a problem with that.
Shin making a good comment there at Banjax. I love it. But that falls into the whole thing, isn't it? I mean, it's about the respect level. Like, respect
Yeah,
what you're working with. Like,
yeah,
again, the developers, they chose to make that. The, you know,
yeah.
the Xbox outlined, this is our settings. There it is. Go and
I
build
mean,
to that. Okay, we'll build to that. Like, they've
ultimately,
had enough
off
time
that,
now. They've had what, 2 years?
no, more than that. But like, ultimately, off that, right? If you don't want to produce a game for the Series S, don't produce a game on the Xbox at all. I mean, they know damn well that it is a combo. Like, produce it for the X,
What?
you
But
produce it for the S.
why aren't they building it for the Series S and then adding the upgraded features for the X?
Because it's actually easier to build a game for the X and then downgrade everything to the S. That's essentially what they do with the dev kits, right? So the dev kits are just out of this world, astronomical, like way more powerful than a Series X. So
Hmm.
they build their game how they want to. They then know the limits, and then they start refining it and bringing it down to within spec of the console. And you go down to the Series S. I mean, it's the same thing essentially. It's just different restrictions. So
And I mean, it is. You're not wrong, Magix. I mean, the 360 and the PS2, they were pretty much comparable.
oh, 100%. But like
But like, if you're looking for the high end and that's what they want to do, you know, push to a PC. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
if they don't want to
that's
be
that's your simple
restricted,
answer.
yeah,
Yeah, if you don't
like
want to play with restrictions, go to PC. At that point, you don't have restrictions. It's just everyone else needs to spend thousands of dollars to upgrade a machine just to play your game. Like, you want to be
yeah,
smart,
and
you
you
cater to
don't
that
need
consumer.
to pay for a dev console.
No, that's right. You want more hands on your game. You want more eyes playing your game. Appeal to your consumer
Look,
base.
and
Otherwise, suck it
I
up and deal with it.
I
Like,
I am wholeheartedly a console gamer at heart. I will admit that, and you know, but yeah,
lazy.
I am not lazy. I'm not, but I agree. Okay, I agree. If you want an untamed sort of game
Hmm.
that's going to hit like wild limits,
Yep.
then PC's where it's at. Uh, I will agree with that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, it's not a hard thing to do. I mean, they've been doing
So
it for ages. I mean, think about the Xbox One. They had the One S, they had the One X. They're all slightly different. They all had opportunities that the others didn't have. They
all
still
right,
made it work.
but this argument, right, that the Series S is a potato. Do these developers realize
Hmm.
what gaming used to be like?
Oh,
Right?
exactly. Yeah.
You go back to the Super NES, the
Yeah.
Atari, you had megabytes of
Yeah.
storage.
Yeah. Yeah. Had literally nothing.
Megabytes. Like you were restricted to the cartridge. That's it. Your game had to fit on the cartridge, no more, and that was it. And how it shipped was how it shipped, bugs and all,
Yep. Yep.
right? And they did.
They
As Banjack said, they had to be creative. They had to come up with creative ways to maximize what they could get out of the console and somehow fit it all into a finite space. They don't have that problem anymore.
no. Well, that's
Look at Call of Duty. How big was that?
Well, that's what I've said just recently. I mean, I might have said it on the show as well. I know I said it to you personally, but
Yeah.
how long is it now before things like your Call of Duty, your Battlefields, like your big AAAs are shipping on a fucking memory stick that you're just going to plug in? It's you're not going to get a game. You're just going to install it like a bloody memory drive. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, what game? I think Call of Duty was the first modern game to come out on 2 discs. I think.
no,
Uh,
no.
one of them
Oblivion back
was.
on the 360 had 4. The Elder
No, I
Scrolls
remember.
Oblivion had
Okay, yeah,
4.
no, but I mean like modern games, right?
In
So
the
we're talking
current
about
generation, yeah,
like
it's
modern
stupid.
dual layer Blu-ray discs, right? They hold 50 gig, right? Which is a lot,
Yeah,
a lot
that's a
compared
lot
to
of
what
yeah.
DVDs were.
Back
So
then, yeah.
when you look at GTA 5 that came out on 2 discs, Oblivion came out on 4 or 5. It was kind of expected, but people didn't really bat an eyelid at it. Now it's like, oh, 2 discs, what is this? It's just how it is. Would you rather have 2 discs and instead of having one and then downloading the rest of the game for the next day?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. You got to spend another day downloading another disc.
I mean, the
I mean, look,
games are massive now. So,
but again,
like,
it
we don't.
falls into that respect, doesn't it? It's just like they're whinging about
Yeah,
the size of games, but yet they want the best of the best. They want the best graphics. They want the best options, but yet they're not respecting enough to say, "Oh, well, it's fucking too big." Well, I
yeah.
mean, you're asking these developers to push the boundaries to make
And,
it.
and a lot of them are. A lot of them
Hmm.
are pushing the boundaries of what, like, they're squeezing every
Oh,
ounce out of these consoles now. Like they are pushing these consoles to their limit. And I
I mean,
mean, you look at half of the games that have come out.
mhm.
Gorgeous.
But think about
Like,
going back in the era, like when we first started playing, like on the Super Nintendo and stuff. We were like, "Whoa, these graphics!
yeah.
Look at where we're at now. Where are we going to be in another 10 or 15 years? Like, where are we
I
seriously
I
going to
I
be? Like,
mean,
how much more can we seriously squeeze out of these games?"
okay. So I think we've sort of hit a point, and we've been at this point for a little bit now, where games have sort of hit the photorealism.
Yeah, the cap.
That's the point that we've hit. Right? We've hit
Yeah.
photorealism where we can do it fluently.
Mm.
I mean, fuck, look at UE5. Oh, so where do you go from that?
Well, that's right.
It's
I
we've
mean,
we've gone from making stuff look great and we've capped that. We can't really make anything look more realistic than realistic.
real.
Um,
Yeah, right.
so I guess it just comes down to bigger worlds. I guess how big can you make the world? How in depth can you make a story at that point?
So,
You know,
in respect to the gaming industry, do you think that it's elevated too fast?
I don't think so. I think it's sort of gone hand in hand with the technology available. I mean, the the development side of things has always been pushing the limit. We've always had grand ideas of that are beyond the physical capabilities of hardware is, and now they're starting to catch up. I mean, we're not
Yeah.
there, obviously, like hardware can still push a lot further, but we're hitting a point where it's kind of acceptable. You know, we can't really push it any further than it is.
Yeah, we're kind of capped out. We're kind of at a point
Yeah,
where, I mean, is there any point going to 8K gaming? I mean, let's
no,
be serious. Like 4K,
right.
you're not going
So,
to see a difference between 4 and 8K.
so
I mean,
actually,
let's be
on that,
fair.
Linus Tech Tips actually released a video. I think it was yesterday, or the day
Yeah.
before, about it was updated video on the whole 8K gaming thing, and they used the brand new 4090. And they did a test. They sat people down in front of an 8K television and
Hmm.
played a 4K game, and
Yeah.
people
Couldn't
didn't
tell.
know. And
No,
then they switched it over to 8K, and people still couldn't tell the difference. I
you can't
honestly
tell. No.
believe, like my opinion, I honestly believe that 8K does not belong in the home. It's just not. It's not reasonable by any means. I think 4K is a nice limit for the home, and for
Exactly. I
gaming in
mean,
general.
personally, I think for the pinnacle, 1440 was where it's at. I think it's still probably the strongest
Oh,
in
yeah,
its
without a doubt,
in
yeah.
its space right now. 4K, I think, might be the go-to in a couple of years, but once you hit 4K continuously, and that's where everything's based on, what's left? What is there left to achieve in the gaming industry, in the gaming sector? What's there to do?
Yeah, well, that's it.
What, maximum frame rate? Like, again, whoop-de-doo. Like, once you go above 60, you're not seeing any real difference anyway.
Yeah.
So again, like, have we capped out? And do we really have a future in the gaming industry? Is there a future? I mean, look at the size of the 4090 at the moment. I mean, what's the next card? I mean, like,
yeah, right.
Where are we?
Seen some memes around that one too.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like, where does it stop? Like, I mean,
well, I looked at because I had the Xbox One X, and I'm like, this already does 4K 60, and I'm like, I know they're working on a new generation console, and I couldn't fathom what they would do to make it better. Needless to say, I was wrong on so many levels. They made it like ridiculously better. But like even looking at the Series X now, I'm like, what can they do to that to make the next one better? And it's all coming down to tweaking, really.
yeah, it's like Shin saying in the thing. It's optimization. You've got to optimize everything to the finest detail. Like, and I mean, at that point, I mean, what's next year's Call of Duty going to be? Exactly the same as this year's, because they can't change anything. It's exactly the same thing. It's copy and paste, and we're going to optimize it.
I mean,
so what do they do when they finally get to the optimized level? Like, they can't optimize it anymore. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
You've maxed out your video. You've maxed out everything else. What is there left to do?
I mean, Call of Duty is the FIFA of the shooting world, really.
Yeah.
Because you look at FIFA, NBA.
I was waiting for a comment like that from Banjax, to be fair.
Right? You look at those games, they release a new game every year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the game doesn't change. The game is
Well, I mean, Call of Duty is still,
but
like, I mean, if you think back to,
they tweak things. They make things, more realistic, or
I mean, if you think back, like the whole, like 2010, 2008, 2009 era of Call of Duty, nothing has really changed. Okay, the graphics have gotten better. Nothing else has really changed on it. That's it.
It's the same game.
It's, and it's that's the one thing I fear, especially with things like Forza and the new, like the Need for Speeds and things like that, is they're just gonna be the same fucking thing. Like, obviously they're going to be graphically better, and I know the new Forza has made some improvements, so don't get me wrong. But if you think back between Forza Motorsport 5, 6, and 7, they were all pretty much copy and paste. Half the work was already done. All they had to do was just make a few graphic changes. That was it.
Yeah,
like
they didn't really do anything for those. But I guess that sort of leads into a very interesting question: have we hit the limit of our imagination?
I think we hit that 10 years ago.
Have we expended our creativity process?
I think we hit that years ago, because I mean, honestly, look at the amount of remakes. The amount of going back to, I'm just going to pick that license up and graphically change it. Like, look at what it's doing in the industry. We're not developing new. I mean, there was a few new ones. And one Banjax spoke about when he was on the show was Bleeding Edge. There were things like that. But when you consider what that is, I mean, that's another Overwatch. It's another Paladins. It's another it's another one of those style of games. And I mean, there's only so much you can take from that game and put here and take that and put there to make another game. But you know, in what it is,
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean,
the,
Banjax?
it's the originality.
Yeah, there's no
So like,
imagination to it anymore.
This week I played Scorn. I didn't know anything about Scorn, right? And I've played horror games before, and it was really original, like original on every level. Original, like I've never played a game like it before. It still
Right.
makes 0 sense to me, but I enjoyed it. But that's the sort of originality we need. There was no sort of, interestingly enough, there was no sort of storyline to it. It was more of an
Yeah.
experience, but it was something new. It didn't
Yeah.
didn't reuse older ideas, and I think that's where the AAA titles are sort of falling apart.
Would you not class Scorn as like an escape room style game in some concept?
Yeah,
Like
it's sort of,
it kind of gives you that like escape room vibe. You've got to get through that puzzle to get to the next part, then you get through that puzzle. So isn't it not just a puzzle elevator style game? Like,
I guess it depends on how it's presented, really.
yeah.
So I would put Scorn on the same sort of level as the Vanishing of Ethan Carter, which was sort of the same thing. It was very linear. Vanishing of Ethan Carter, you could sort of go to different points. It didn't really matter. So it's unlinear yet linear. But it was puzzle based. You had to get from point A to point B. So, but it just wasn't a horror. That was the only difference. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it all comes down to how it's presented, not necessarily what's been used. If it gets presented in a new, refreshing way, it's a win.
No, I know what you're saying, but I mean, if you look at just about every game, you can almost back trace its origin. Like they've taken a concept and they've modified it to be their own thing. But
but like you look at how many games have come out.
We lost
in the
we lost that creative edge. Yeah, we lost that creative edge.
It was
10 years
different.
Ago. Easy.
Yeah, it was different 30 years ago. Because there are tons of new ideas.
We had nothing. How do we
push it?
Yeah.
We were heading into areas of gaming where there were new valleys of opportunity. Like we could, the hardware was far more advanced. We could do new things. Now it's like, okay, well,
we've got this UV hardware. What do we do with it? Oh, let's just remake last year's game and put it.
We just make that game look better. Really,
I mean, if you think back to when like Fortnite launched, you had Fortnite, you had PUBG, you had that battle royale genre open up, something new and fresh. Everyone was sort of on that little hype train for a while, but again, it didn't last because look, places started taking bits from this one and that one and adding it into their own thing, and it was just battle royale. That's all it was. Yeah, and like Shinzakura is saying exactly right. It's the suits versus artists really. I mean, the suits want the dollars because that's what makes them rich. But at the end of the day, if they're not producing, what they have to realize, if they're not going to produce a worthy product, people are going to get to the point where they just stop buying it.
Yeah. I mean, take GTA for example.
Exactly.
I mean,
they're just milking that now. Like,
but the amount of stuff that they put into the game, just fine, detailed stuff that you would just generally just overlook. Right? There is so much stuff in those. There are people still finding stuff in that game. What it released? 2008. 2009, somewhere around.
I don't know. It's too long. that game should have been. Its lifespan should have ended by now.
It should have, but it hasn't. That's the point. People are still getting into GTA 5. So, but they're sort of doing things right. They take their time, they shove as much as they physically can into the game, like minute details. And the game's like, it'll be a decade long game. Easy.
Yeah, they'll do a longevity game, yeah, for sure. But
Yeah. But
I mean,
but it is. It's the people
in
who want the
this,
money. They will bet on the things that are safe.
yeah,
You know, that so they'll just well, that worked. Just do that again.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
this
AKA Call of
original
Duty.
idea, we don't know if people are going to take up on that. We're on the fence, but push this out first. We'll think about that one later. And
Yeah.
then games get cancelled, delayed, then cancelled. you know, it's
Mm.
it's not good. I, it's not good.
It's a sad affair that we're in, and I don't see an end to this lull in imagination, in creativity, in development. I just don't see an end to it. I see it always going to be exactly what it is now. It's just going to be
Yeah.
a copy and
But
paste,
like,
and we'll tweak that and make that what we can.
that's why you see indie devs have more creativity than the AAA devs, because the AAA devs are worried about their
Money.
shareholders and
Yeah.
money, so they're going to bet on. That's what I said last time. They're going to bet on something that's more reliable, and they're not going to take
Yeah.
the risk. The indie
hmm
dev has nothing to risk, really. So they can push the
Well, I
point.
mean, if it
They
works, it
can.
works. If it flops, it flops. There's no.
They'll just work on something new. Yeah,
They'll just go and do something different. Exactly
yeah,
right. They're not worried about losing
yeah,
$1 million tomorrow because it didn't
yeah.
sell.
And that's why you're seeing like indie devs come out with like old 2D platformer games, right? We're going back to like 8 pixel, you know, platformer games, and they are just shit hot. Like, they are
hmm
just so good, because it's not about how good the game looks; it's about how it plays.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
if it's
you
got that
talk about
playability.
that you talk about that indie dev and throwing it all on the line.
Hmm.
Mojang Studios with Minecraft. Think about when that
such
very first came out. I mean,
such a
holy
simple
shit.
idea.
That was just such a basic elemental game. It was almost taken out of Roblox and just stuck on a fucking thing and said, "Hey, look what we got."
But like, you
But
look
look
at
at
it
what it did
now.
do. It blew
It's
up.
a
It's
it's a block
huge.
style game. It's not
It's
graphically impressive. I mean, there
nope.
are mods out there that make it like fantastic, but overall, the game itself is very basic. It's got a very
Yeah.
basic principle, but the
Yep.
limits are limitless.
Endless. I mean, it's a franchise now, isn't it? I mean, you got your Minecraft, you've got your dungeons, you've got your stories.
Yeah,
You've
Minecraft
got
Legends coming out soon, which is like a
Legends. You've got guys who've turned it into role playing stuff like your GTA RPs and stuff.
yeah,
It's now a whole franchise. It's not just a case of it's just a little block
but
game
there's
of build blocks and shit. It's a
no
full
end to it.
fledged. No, that's right.
Because it comes down to the imagination and creativity of what people can do with the game.
Yep.
That was the whole point of the game, was it
hmm
to be this massive sandbox style game where people can just use their imagination and go
Yep.
wild with it. The world is yours. Do whatever you
Do
like.
you know what? Do you know what it kind of reminds me of? And it was the same thing that Project Spark tried to do. Project
Yeah.
Spark tried to do that, give you a sandbox to go and do whatever you wanted to do. It just didn't work.
No.
I don't know why Minecraft became so successful. Minecraft had no right in any of the industry to be what it is, but it's
Yeah.
massive.
But like, so
And
Project Spark was
respect
an
to them
interesting
for
one
it.
as well. So Project Spark could have succeeded, right? Firstly, if it wasn't called Project Spark.
Yeah.
Secondly, if it had better advertising around it. Because
Mm,
you got what PlayStation Dreams, I think it's called. Essentially the same shit. It's basically the same. Under the hood, it's the same style thing. You've
yeah.
got tools to create whatever you want and make it do whatever you want. It just comes down to imagination. Dreams is still going strong. Like
Yeah,
people are making some wild shit in Dream. Like people are recreating other games, like full-fledged games in Dream, and it's just
yeah.
bonkers.
And
And
it's crazy. I mean, Project Spark had that option. They had that
it did.
ability if they really harnessed it the right way. That's what I mean.
I
Back in the time that Minecraft launched, it had no right to blow up like it did.
no,
It just
absolutely
the
not.
thing was just insane. But I mean, you look now, 15 years on, and the thing is just it's still growing daily. Like the user base
Like,
is just ridiculous.
why do you think Microsoft bought into Mojang?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
no brainer,
That's yeah.
really. You know,
But that's what
because
I'm saying. It's just crazy.
yeah, because I mean, Minecraft's just one of those games where you can literally play it anywhere.
Dead game. Fuck
No,
off.
it's not.
No
Don't you dare bring
chance.
that in here. But like, Minecraft's just one of those games where you can play anywhere on any platform, and it's just it's one of those universal games that just seems to work. I mean, it was just this crazy idea of this block style world that just happened to just hit the jackpot like at the right
Yeah.
time. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, but that's not a device. That's an appliance.
No,
uh,
Banjax. No. But
no, in
yeah,
the industry, that's what it is, Banjax. That's exactly right. You see, that's the other
um,
thing too. Like that's a bad cliche that's going on as well. Like,
but that goes on to
um,
what we were saying before. People have their opinions about things.
yeah, exactly. But
Well,
it's
I
a
don't
bad
play that
cliche that
game
just
anymore.
because
Surely it's dead.
so it's dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
No.
mean there's not 60 million other people playing the game that.
I mean,
And that's the other thing too. I saw. Sorry, go on.
no. Like there are games that came out ages ago. That clearly I don't play anymore. But there are people still playing those games like regularly. That's just
Well, I saw
wild.
something on Twitter. Would have been probably late last week. Thinking Thursday, maybe
Mhm.
Friday on Twitter. And it's funny because you got people going back to play the older games. Everyone's like, "Oh, that game's dead." It's been dead for 15 years. Is the game still playable? Is it still functioning? Yes. Then the game's not dead. It's still there.
Well,
Just because someone hasn't picked it up on day one or within the first
yeah,
6 months, it doesn't mean that the game is not worthy to play.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
fuck, you've still got speedrunners, right? You got
yeah,
speedrunners. Like there are people still like speedrunning Mario Kart 64.
right?
Like, come on! Like there are still
Yeah,
people speedrunning games from the Super Nintendo era.
yeah, yep.
Like games don't die; they just
No, no,
go
no.
somewhere else. Out of the
That's the
public
thing.
eye.
Yeah, they're just because they're not mainstream because they're not being shown on stream or people playing them doesn't mean they're not
Well, yeah,
actually being played.
they're not in the top 10 most played games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that
this,
list
this,
is shit at the best of
yeah,
times
but
anyway.
like
Like,
this is the thing. Like with games, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're playing. If you don't have to be playing what everyone else is playing to enjoy the game.
no,
Like yes, if it's a multiplayer game, that's the sort of game that you want to play like now. If it's out because servers and whatnot, and you know, I get that bit, but like single player games, it doesn't matter. Jump back 20 years ago, grab a game. It's fine. It's still a game. Those
yeah,
games
just
were
because.
good. Like
Yeah,
those games
they're actually
defined
made with
this
pride. Yeah,
generation. Yeah. Without those games, the games now wouldn't exist. So
no, that's right. Because again, we just spoke about creativity and how we follow on from fucking previous iterations. But what was before Banjo Kazooie? Come on, Banjax. What was before Banjo
mm,
Kazooie? Where did they come up with that concept to play with
mm. No,
it?
it
No,
wasn't Pong.
fucking hell.
Sakes.
Fucking Banjax.
All right. So No. All right. So Banjo Kazooie was sort of like revolutionary for its time. It was sort of the first major open world, you know, puzzle type game. But Banjo Kazooie, right, defined an era,
Mm-hmm.
right? That took the leap into a whole new sector of gaming, and people lapped it up. And now look at it; it's huge, it's absolutely
Yeah.
huge. Look at Mario, right? You had Mario 64,
Yep.
right? Same
There you
same
go.
sort of style, right? And
That's
look at it
right.
now;
That's where
it
you.
has had game after game after game. Like all they had to do was take it from that 2D platformer style,
Yeah.
throw it into a 3D open world where people could essentially go anywhere, and people lost their fucking minds.
Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah. Look at Spyro. Spyro was a mega hit.
Yeah.
Because you could do things that you couldn't do in Banjo Kazooie. There was certain things. It was like, hey, it's the same but different. It was like, yeah, because it's using the same foundation, but they've just tweaked it to make it their own.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's the
exactly the
thing.
same.
But it's still around.
Yeah, Spyro's still a
Yakes
thing.
plays it. Yakes plays it sometimes on Glimmer Ship.
It's like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Crash
Can't
Bandicoot. Yeah,
you can't kill Crash Bandicoot? I'm sorry. Like it doesn't matter how hard you try. That shit is still there.
but you can
I believe
always
they're
look at an
working on a new
origin.
one too.
Yeah, I heard they're doing another
Hmm.
Crash. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like you can always trace the origins of a game. Like if you think before Banjo Kazooie, what was in that window prior? Like it's always playing with that thing. Like always. And Rare and Nintendo were always pushing
Oh,
that
yeah.
benchmark. They were always pushing it forward.
I mean, Rare especially were always pushing the limits of their game.
Yeah.
You look at when Conquer, A Bad Fur Day came out.
Oh yeah.
That was such an edgy game for its time. And like you look at it now, you're like, oh fuck, did that pass? Because you look at parts of
Yeah.
it, you're
How
like,
did that
god
get through
damn,
under the
you know,
standards of today versus back
yeah,
then? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But they pushed the limits. They knew
Yeah.
where the limit was. They pushed it, and it was a successful game. It's just
Yeah.
cool. I mean, Carmageddon's come round and then some.
Yeah.
That's another big
It
one.
keeps coming around that thing.
Yeah.
But again, okay, so Carmageddon, what game would you say in the recent past would be very similar to Carmageddon? Maybe not with the blood and guts and gore, but what's very similar?
I mean, nearly any racing game, really.
Exactly. There you go. Wreckfest. No, Wreckfest. There you go. And Twisted Metal, things like that.
Twisted Metal, absolutely Twisted Metal.
Yeah. That's the thing. There's always a precursor to whatever's there. They've always taken that concept and gone, oh, well, we can change it and do this. Actually, Wreckfest, I'd say, would be more of a destruction derby.
Yeah.
And Twisted Metal would be more Carmageddon-ish.
Yeah.
But, still along the same sort of general line.
One of the racing games that I enjoyed, though, was Split Second. I loved Split Second, and I would love for them to make a sequel to that and just revamp it for the new generation of gaming, because I reckon they could take that to a whole new level. Flat Out was the original Wreckfest. I mean, you look at Flat Out and then you look at Wreckfest. Even there's a new one. There's a new one that's just been released. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, they're all relatively the same sort of concept.
Yeah,
they all look almost identical. Mind you, the guys
Road
behind
Rash, now
Wreckfest
Road Redemption,
did Flat Out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah,
that was a good one. The old motorbikes with the chains and baseball bats and kicks and stuff. I mean, that's there. I mean, you can always find the precursor to it. I mean, it's as simple as that, because we haven't got that visionary to make new things. It's what can I do to that to make it this, and that's what it is. It's just, how can I bring that old game into the future?
Yeah. But on the topic of copying someone else's homework, uh, which is completely off topic now. So PlayStation are
Oh
launching their
yes.
brand new PS5 DualSense controller, their Pro controller, and I mean it's got all the same functionality as the Xbox Elite controller. You know, removing thumbsticks, paddles. You know, it's got all the fancy stuff. The only difference is the price. So the the Xbox Elite controller is 129 US. The brand new PlayStation 5 Pro controller is 199 US. Now, I don't know about you, but I will not be paying that much for a Pro controller. I mean, I already know that the Xbox Elite controller over here is like a ridiculous price. I mean,
It's
we're
what,
we're
$200
looking
or
at,
something, 199.
200 standard.
Yeah,
That's for like customization. I think you're looking at
yeah,
200 Australian over here. That's for
yeah.
the Xbox Elite. So the PlayStation Pro controller, we'll be looking at 300 plus for a controller. I don't know about you, but I mean, right.
No.
So I can customize the brand new Xbox Series 2 controller,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I can get it for like $279. I think that's, but no, hang on. But that's fully customized. That's a customizable case, accessories. That's with a discount, might I add. It comes to over $300, right?
Fuck that.
But it still comes in cheaper, right? A fully customized controller, sticks, paddles, like all the accessories, and the case comes in cheaper than the PlayStation Pro controller itself.
But okay, so here's my problem with that system, right? Yes, it's customizable, but they've already got all those parts. They're not buying specific things in that color to make it. They've already got it. All they got to
Oh
do
no,
is
they've
assemble the
mass
fucking
produced those colors. Yeah, I get it. I understand that.
like, like, yeah,
I mean,
no,
but you can print stuff on the controller. I mean, there's a cost value in that. But generally speaking, it's instead of this default part, we take that and put that
yeah.
in. Whatever.
Instead of black
I,
sticks, you want blue ones. Oh, okay, that's $15. Like, dude, you've got
but
them there. Just put them
but
on. Like, fuck.
essentially, right? Okay, I'm paying an extra $80 for a custom case and custom colors on all the parts. I mean, that's not
I,
bad.
I'm, I'm sorry, but no,
Yeah,
that's not.
I understand that.
When they've already mass produced hundreds of thousands of
I
these,
I
I'm
understand,
sorry, that's not worth it.
but but
What they should be
but
charging you is for the controller and assembly. That's it. Not because it's a different
yes,
color.
but this is where Microsoft is making their money. They're making their
Oh
money on
yeah, because
accessories and games
yeah,
and all that to
yeah.
counter the price that they're losing for the consoles. Because the consoles are subsidized, like $100-$200 per console. Like they are losing. That is fact. Phil Spencer has said that. So they've got to make that money up somehow. And how else would they do it? You know, it's either going to be accessories, subscriptions, games, no banjacks. But it's going to be these other things that are going to seem slightly higher price. They're going to balance out the price of these consoles. That's just how it is. That's just the reality of the situation.
So I'm getting some major internet issues here. I may
No,
dip out. I may not.
you're fine. It's all right. We're gonna wrap things up. Oh no, we're not. Never mind. I forgot what time it was. God, I'm on an absolute ripper today, aren't I?
Yeah. We're flying, mate. But I mean, again, I think yes, they're making their money on the controllers and stuff like that and their accessories, but is it worth that money though? Considering it's just the basic fucking control.
But it's not.
It is. Those sticks are exactly the same as the black ones. Those front panels are exactly the same as the grey ones. Those rear panels are exactly the same as the black ones. They're not anything different.
But
just because there's pretty colors and got a name on it doesn't.
There's extra manufacturing costs in making those colored parts.
But there's not.
Yes, the process is the same. I know. Yes, the process is the same, but they're taking them from a default set line to put custom paints on it, custom colors.
Right. No, because they're not custom colors. Because they're just a set window.
I know. They're a library of colors, but it still diverts from the standard process of colors. So it's a whole separate manufacturing.
But now you're saying just because it's colored that it's better, but it's not. It's the same.
I'm not saying it's better. It's. I didn't say it was better. It's a custom.
That's what I said. Is it worth it considering it's exactly the same as a standard controller? It's nothing better. Is it worth it? Is it worth $300+ just for a?
Is it worth buying different colored T-shirts? Why not just buy a white one?
Because white stains. I'd rather buy black. But they're not charging me an extra $17 or $18 for a black T-shirt. They're charging you $15 for a front panel.
How much are they going to charge you for a custom T-shirt? They're going to charge you extra though. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Right. So even if you just got like plain print text on your shirt, that's still an extra cost.
Right, but it's
even though you could buy that exact same color shirt at the shop.
Is it? Yeah, exactly. And I probably would without the custom text. Why? Because it's not worth putting writing on a fucking piece of clothing.
I guess it depends on how you look at it.
I don't see the sense in a custom controller. I mean, they're going to wear out, break, and you're going to throw it in the fucking bin. You're going to have to go and buy another one. And it's not going to be any better. It's not going to last longer because it's blue, red, and fucking purple, or white, green, and orange. It's not going to last longer. It's exactly the same controller. The fundamentals are the same thing.
So what about limited edition controllers?
I don't think there should be anything different. I mean, if they're paired with a console, and that's okay, it's a limited edition purely for the fact that it's like say Gears of War. I don't think they're worth anything more. But I think the fact that they make them a prestige item by limiting them would make some sort of option. Yes, your fucking Gears of War one, yes.
No. Right, I've got this one, right? 20th anniversary edition controller.
Yeah.
Right.
To me,
I haven't used this because I don't want to damage it.
You see, there we go.
Looking at this one, right? I know the damage that I do, right? My fucking chunky head. But this, it's got a see-through cover on it, right? So it's
So how much did you pay for that compared to a normal controller? Based on the fact that a normal controller is about $100. Too much. Yeah, exactly all right. So, right. You're too much for a clear panel. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So a normal controller is about $99 over here.
Yeah, it's $100. Yeah.
I think I paid. I honestly can't remember how much I paid for this, but it was well over $100.
Yeah, exactly. For what? A clear panel. That's realistically all you got different.
But it's damn good looking controller. I will say that much.
Fuck off. It's still exactly the same thing. It's just clear,
But it's cool. It's just. Sorry.
This is the thing. You're buying off shelf appeal, not the fact that functionality is exactly the same. It doesn't change anything. It's still going to break. It's going to wear. It's going to do exactly what the other controller did. But because
Yeah.
it looks pretty, people are going to pay more for it, and that's what they
But
know,
it's like
and that's what they're
clothing.
working on.
You know, you're not going to release some general standardized clothing and be like, well, it's just clothing. I don't understand why everyone's upset about this. It's right. You try and tell a
No, I'm not
female
upset
that,
about it. I'm
right?
just saying I don't think it's worth it.
You try and standardize the female clothing outlets. You're going to have fucking uproar.
Right, but
Like,
again,
they
what
would
I'm
probably be
saying
able to
is,
explain this better than ever I could.
but okay, the Elite controller. If it's a $200 controller, why does it need to be $100 and plus something dollars more for customization? Why can't it be $49 for customization? Considering they've mass reduced shit at a rate that would be ridiculously cheap.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the processes that are in place to warrant the price increase.
But that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, fundamentally, it's exactly the same. I don't see the sense in having another $140 on top of it.
I don't see a problem with it. Okay, I don't. Jesus Christ. But like that controller, that's a limited edition controller. Okay, they only made so many. You cannot buy that anymore.
Is it numbered? Is it numbered?
I know my Xbox is somewhere.
So this is the thing too. So this would be another thing for me. Like if they say it's a limited edition, then I would expect it to be numbered and certified with a certificate to say yes, this was produced on this date and this is officially number 9 of 100. As it stands, if there's no number on that, no certificate, it's just another fucking controller. Throw the thing in the bin. Like who cares? It's just a controller. You know, it doesn't. Just because it's got a pretty panel on it doesn't make it anything more than just them going, oh, look at this. We've got some old panels here. Hey, here's an idea. Let's stick it on the front of a controller, make it only 100 because that's all we've got, and we'll sell them for $150 because people will buy them, even though they're nothing but $100 controller.
Because it's the personal experience. Yes, I understand what you're getting at. Right. Functionally, it is the exact same product. I understand.
Right. So if it's a limited edition,
experience,
it needs to be certified that it's a limited edition. Otherwise, it's just not limited. It's just there.
Well, if you can't buy it anymore, it's clearly limited.
No, it's just sold out.
No, because they're not making them anymore.
Well, that's right. It means it's sold out.
No, it doesn't. No.
See, there's that no again. No, it's not sold out. You can't buy them anymore.
Well,
you
no,
can't buy them because they're sold out.
It's sold out because they're not making them anymore. It was a limited run.
Yeah, exactly. See, unless it's certified, it's not limited edition. It's the way it's always been. If you go and look at anything, go and look in any industry, limited edition is certified and numbered. And if it's not done, it means they just had scrap parts laying around. They just wanted to make a few extra dollars on.
It was the 20th anniversary controller, right? Obviously, they can't keep making the 20th anniversary controller forever, can they? No, because it's not going to make any fucking sense. Hence why it's a limited run.
You're so easy to wind up.
Don't
I mean, again, though, limited edition, though, it should be numbered. It should be.
My
if it's limited.
Project Scorpio Xbox One X, right? That is limited edition. It came with a certificate and a number.
There you
I
go.
know which one exactly.
There you go. See, right? Exactly. Did the controller come with one?
I understand that. I can't remember. It did come with something. I just can't remember. I don't even know whether it's still in.
It probably come with a big fucking fat lot of zeros at the end of the number. That's probably what it came with.
I think it came with something in the box, but I possibly. Oh no! Wait.
Oh.
No, it didn't.
Oh, you see, there you go.
It didn't come with anything. I swear it did, though. I don't know. Anyway, regardless.
Exactly right, Banjax. With enough hammers, anything can be limited edition.
What? Anyway. Not the point.
They're not turned on. They're not turned on.
Why would clips be turned on?
Because the look on your face was priceless.
Whatever. Can we move on, please? All right. Let's talk about the PlayStation debacle at the moment. All right. With the whole Call of Duty franchise thing. Which one? True.
You mean the
true
Activision Blizzard takeover?
Yeah. To be more specific,
you mean
that
Mr. Ryan being an absolute twat?
And a twat. The entire PlayStation fan base, really. They're all like, Xbox can't have exclusive content. Where? Yeah, what the fuck have they been doing the whole goddamn time?
Hold on. Let's just put something into context, okay? PlayStation is one of the most hacked consoles on the planet. We know that. The PS5 has already been jailbroken, right?
Well, yeah.
Jim Ryan is whinging about the Activision Blizzard takeover, that they're going to lose the exclusive rights. So their players won't get the 2 weeks early access to Call of Duty. Now, can I just remind you, in the beta for the new Call of Duty, 60,000 accounts were banned before it hit Xbox and PC. Hello.
Yeah. Like, all right, but it's not just
mate,
about.
You're whinging that you're going to lose 2 weeks early access, but you're not whinging about your players rorting the system and hacking the shit out of the game.
It's not just about the early access, though. Right, the PlayStation fans are up in arms because they lose that early access. They lose exclusive loadouts,
skin, exclusive
skins, like exclusive content that's only available on PlayStation. Right, so when Microsoft end up buying Activision Blizzard, there's not going to be exclusive content. Everyone will get the same thing. And PlayStation are cracking the shits over that?
I mean, Xbox have really only said that the Activision Blizzard deal for them is about mobile. It's nothing more.
Yeah. They just want to bring it to more people to play with. Yeah.
Sony shit. They're not
Microsoft
even bothered by that.
want to bring the game to more people and have it more accessible to people who want to play the game. That's it.
How was Jim Ryan in the was it the Brazilian court of arbitration or whatever it is over there? And he said, "Oh, but they can't take that 2 weeks early access away from us because that's ours." Dude, well, you're just saying exactly what you don't want them to do. Is you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. I mean,
I'm sorry. They're all fucking children. They're not doing that. They are children, right? Okay. They're all children. A lot of them. Everyone at PlayStation, all the PlayStation fanboys are acting like a bunch of children. This is ridiculous. It is a game, right? It doesn't matter, right? All of that exclusive content that you have is going to go to other consoles and platforms as well, right? It's going to make a fair player base. Why the fuck do you need to be on top of the goddamn pile when it comes to that game?
Because they're better. 60,000 hackers on that are better than the average PC and Xbox raise. Come on. I couldn't believe that. 60,000 were banned before it went to PC and Xbox, and only a further 20,000 were banned after that.
Not enough, if you ask me.
1/3 over 2 platforms. Only 1/3.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, very
Uh,
interesting.
it's just
PlayStation and Jim Ryan just need to sit down and take a relax, have some Tylenol or something, and
but
just calm
but
down.
this but
Because
this is PlayStation's thing though. They've always
yeah,
been on the we need exclusive content.
well,
Why? Because they
look
need
at
to survive. That's why.
look when Kojima said he was going to Xbox.
All the PlayStation fans
They
crack
blew up
shits
about it.
over it.
He can't do that. He's a PlayStation. No, he's
Yeah,
not.
he
He's a
makes
free
games
agent.
for
Do whatever the fuck
PlayStation.
he
He can't
wants.
go to Xbox. I'm gonna revolt. I'm gonna cry to my mummy about this.
uh,
It's just a
nah,
fucking
Shin, honestly,
game.
60,000 accounts were banned on the Call of Duty beta before it hit PC and Xbox.
Like, you don't see me, right, going out to buy a Nintendo Switch just so I can use the Mario and Luigi themed car in Rocket League. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not getting all huffy and puffy about that shit. I don't
What
care.
what Jim Ryan's basically saying is that because if that happens, that everyone will leave PlayStation and go to Xbox. That's what he's saying. Uh, I don't know where
No.
he sees this vision. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking is going to
Yeah.
happen, but it's
Well,
not going to happen. Like,
it's the thing that, oh shit, Microsoft are buying out our most popular game. We're going to
yeah,
lose that game now. No.
no, they're worried that
You
people are going
only
to go to
had
Xbox.
all PlayStation ever had was the early access and some
Yep,
exclusive content. The
yep.
game itself
It was
is
still on
available
Xbox
on both platforms and PC.
and PC
Right?
and Switch. I think
That's
it's even
not
on Switch.
changing. There's nothing
No,
changing there. So I
it's
don't
just
know
they
why they're
don't get the
getting all
free
huffy
access.
puffy about it. They're not losing anything. They've still got the game on their platform. They've still got their player base. Just they
Hmm.
lose their exclusive content. It's the whole GTA thing, because what
Yep.
GTA? What it was? GTA was free. No. Was it free on PlayStation when it launched? I'm not sure. I know Rocket League was. So PlayStation somehow got Rocket League free for a year for all of its users. That's an exclusive deal, right? There were a lot of people who snapped that game up for free. I paid for that shit. I don't care. Also got their exclusive deal with Rockstar, where
Yeah.
any gameplay trailers and all that sort of jazz, they're all captured on PlayStation hardware, and they promote PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's their exclusivity deal,
Hmm.
right? My question is, when it comes to those exclusivity deals where they get, prime advertising or, exclusive content, if they lost that, where do they stand? Are they still going to have the same amount of sales?
Well, put it
Are
this
they
way.
still going to be in the same spot
Put it
they
this
are
way.
now?
The way I see it, Activision Blizzard is still the company.
Yes.
Microsoft is the owner. So what? The deal can still be there. It doesn't make an ounce of difference.
Mm-hmm.
To me, as a player, I don't give a shit. Leave it exclusive. Have that shit. Doesn't worry me. Because at the end of the day, that money still goes through Activision back to Microsoft anyway.
I mean,
So it's still coming back to
Microsoft.
Xbox. So who cares?
Yeah. So what Microsoft did say that they will be holding the contract until it finishes.
Yeah.
Right. So
Exactly.
PlayStation's not losing any of their exclusive content until well into next year. Right.
And
So
even
that
then,
contract stays in place.
and I think
Even
he's still
after
offered
that,
for 3 years after the contract. Yeah.
like even after that, they have like this is the thing. Like this is where all the PlayStation fanboys are getting all like huffy over the most ridiculous stuff. They think, oh, Microsoft buying all these companies, we're going to lose all of our games, and they're not going to come
I
to
don't get it.
PlayStation anymore. But they're still
Nope.
coming to PlayStation. I mean, you've got
Mhm.
Xbox Studios games on PlayStation. We've got PlayStation Studios games on
Oh,
Xbox. It didn't make anything worse. It made shit better. But for some reason, they just got it in their head that they're just losing all of their library. Like, oh, they bought that company.
They
We're
just
not
don't
going to have that game anymore.
understand.
No, Microsoft
They
don't
just don't
care.
understand the basic concept of, hey, nothing is changing. It's still going to be the same thing.
Microsoft honestly do not care.
They're not going to
They
take
want
your shit away.
gaming for everyone. That is their
Yeah.
purpose right now. They want everyone to enjoy gaming the way it is.
Sony just want to block all that cross-play shit. They just want to block it, so they've only got their PlayStation people.
Yeah, but
That's
like,
all they're trying to do.
Think about when the whole cross-platform play first started to come into it. You know,
Oh.
Rocket League was one of the biggest ones to jump onto that band.
Yep.
They're like, yes, we want this to happen. You know,
Yep.
Xbox was on board, Nintendo was on board. We're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. I mean, PC,
Epic was on board.
Who cares? Yeah. And then it came to PlayStation. They're like, we don't want any part of that. It's like instantly, like,
Well, the first one was Minecraft, wasn't it? When they tried to do the altogether update for Minecraft.
I think that came after the Rocket League thing.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought Minecraft was the first one they tried to do it with. I was like, oh no, because we want all our people protected. Like, no, motherfucker, you can't even protect
released
the account.
They did release Minecraft on the multiple platforms, but they hadn't done the cross-play. Platform play yet. So Rocket League, I'm pretty sure, was one of the first ones. And, you know, when everyone's on board, but PlayStation's standing aside and be like, we don't want to have anything to do with you guys. We don't want our player base tainted by all of you.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
What sort of picture does that paint? And they're still doing it. They're still standing by those guns of, we don't want cross-platform play. We don't want our crowd mingling with your crowd, even though a percentage of their crowd has multiple consoles
and they already
and
play on both
multiple
anyway.
platforms. Like, it's silly, and everyone just needs to grow the fuck up, right? Microsoft isn't out to destroy everyone. They're just out to make sure that everyone can play the games that they want to play wherever they play them.
Well, it falls back into that topic. Respect the industry.
Yeah, there's everyone's so defensive now.
Like, if Sony actually sat back and listened and looked at the value of what it's going to create and how it's going to generate a much more inclusive environment for all people and all gamers, they would realize they're not going to lose anything. They're not going to lose their player base. They're not going to lose, you know, Microsoft isn't going to take Call of Duty away from the PlayStation. They're not going to take any game away from the PlayStation. They're not going to make it exclusive Xbox. Because Microsoft know that's $1 billion game right there. Every year, it's $1 billion game.
Yeah, why would they pull the rug out from under that? They know how big the game is. They know how popular it is on PlayStation. They're not dumb.
Like, they're only making smart purchases to make things more open and translucent, the way I see it.
They're seeing opportunities in the market to make things better.
Yeah.
You know,
that's all I see.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we've noticed that, and their main focus is like portable gaming right now.
Yep.
Which is very interesting in itself.
Well, I mean, they don't need the base, do they? They've got PC, they've got Series X. They don't need anything more. Yeah. They need a mobile option. They need like a handheld option.
I mean, you got Fortnite on mobile. Big win. I mean, that was hugely popular.
Call of Duty's on mobile.
Yeah.
Apex mobile.
Yeah. Like, you can pretty much have any game on mobile. But that's their push at the moment. Because that's the sector that they haven't fully tapped into yet. You know, the console market, you can only do so much with that. Mobile.
And I think that's where Nintendo could really help out.
Oh, and I guarantee they've got something in the works with Nintendo.
Yeah, they're working together somewhere. Yeah,
of course. Microsoft and Nintendo have been bed buddies for a very long time. So it's only a matter of time before something gets revealed that, you know, say Xbox Cloud Gaming is now available on Nintendo Switch or something.
I mean, that's
I
probably their
could see that
best
happening.
thing to do.
Yeah,
That
I
would be
could
their
see that
best thing to
happening.
do.
And honestly, it's probably going to be a great thing. And I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if they've proposed that to PlayStation. Be like,
Leave Nintendo to run the handheld
yeah, be like,
part
look,
and just
we'd like to
put it over
have,
there.
yeah, like Xbox Cloud Gaming. It's all in the cloud. There is nothing physically going through the
To
console.
download.
It's
That's
just
right.
data, right? It's like going to a website essentially. You know, it's like
I mean,
streaming
how cool would it be
Netflix.
to sit back on your Switch, like with your Joy-Cons off, and you're just sitting there playing? Like, you don't need to fucking,
Yeah,
it's on your Switch
but you're not
connected to your TV
restricted.
or whatever. Yeah,
You're not restricted by the hardware on the console, especially the
that's
Switch,
right.
because the Switch is a lower tiered
Oh,
console,
100%. Yeah, it's
but it's
definitely not
still going to
to
be
the level.
enough to stream that data through it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Like, and I guarantee that's what's on the cards with Nintendo. That Xbox Cloud Gaming is coming to Nintendo, and I wouldn't be
Oh, there'll
surprised
be.
if they've proposed it to PlayStation, but PlayStation are cracking the shits over it. I mean, it'd be like PlayStation being like, oh, you know, we'd like to offer our whatever it is, the PlayStation Now service on Xbox. You know, it's a little bit different,
Hmm.
but I mean, I could see it happening. You know, it's just cloud gaming. It's got nothing to do with the console itself. It's just,
It's
oh, you've signed into this account. Wicked.
play
Like,
the game.
that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah, you don't need any
Yeah,
specific hardware or anything like that. It's just straight from the net. As long as you got that
and that's why
connection.
I think. That's why I think Microsoft need to just let Nintendo focus on the handheld side of it, and just give them access to XCloud.
You imagine, right?
Link. I mean, you've already got a link. So to do Minecraft from the Switch, you've still got to link a Microsoft account. So the connection is
Yeah,
already there. If you want to play with Xbox friends, you've got to have that Xbox thing. So it's already there. The fundamentals are already embedded on the Switch.
yep.
It's not hard to just link your Nintendo and your
Honestly,
Xbox accounts together and
it's
play.
only a matter of time.
Oh, 100% it is.
There have been rumors swirling around the whole Xbox and Nintendo bed buddies
Well,
thing.
how long before we see potentially xCloud on smart TVs?
I mean, it's already there. You've already
You've
got
already got.
the Samsung 2022 smart TVs, right? Have
Yeah.
an exclusive app that lets you play Xbox Cloud Gaming via the TV. I mean, that's
So what
already
I'm saying
built
is
in.
how often before we see it across the board, like we do with Netflix and YouTube and Disney Plus and all those things. How long before we actually see it embedded on smart TVs in general?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's just software. It's
Pretty
just
much.
software that is the directive to say, oh, you're using this application. Okay, we need X amount of bandwidth and processing power and whatever. That's that's
I mean, it's
really
not hard
about
to
it.
sign into your account. You sign into your
No,
Xbox account, you got access to the cloud. Laying
yeah,
in bed, you're just playing fucking
you could,
games on your
but you
80-inch TV. Like,
but you go to xbox.com/play immediately. Cloud gaming, it's all there,
yeah.
regardless of what what you're using. You just go to that website. No gaming, it's there for you. As long as you've got a controller plugged in, you know.
So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see the future. I mean, I think Microsoft themselves, based around with the xCloud and stuff, will definitely be on a lot more things than we see right now. Currently, I think we're going to see it a lot more.
I look forward to it.
On different devices. And I think, honestly, I think it's the future. If they can fine tune it, get it right, make it smooth and consistent and work without issue, I don't see it being a problem.
It just comes down to bandwidth. You know, if you've got the
Pretty
internet
much.
bandwidth there, those games run damn well. Like there is
I've checked it out. I'm
very
impressed.
minimal input delay. Like yes, there for me there is a noticeable input delay, but I'm like super anal about that sort of shit. But for the general
But for the
gamer,
average
you're not
person,
gonna know.
it's
It's
you're not
so
going to use xCloud at the
insignificant.
next esports tournament. Let's be honest.
Fuck no, no, you wouldn't use it for esports.
But you know
But
what
like just
I'm saying is it's going to be there for a period of time, and they're going to fine tune it. They're going to make it better.
and which they are. They're always fine tuning it.
But that
Finding
opens
better
another question:
ways to compress the data and send it more
Could we
efficiently.
see? Could we see an xCloud esports tournament?
I don't think so. It just with the way cloud gaming is, it's not snappy enough to allow for that sort of
But it would
scenario
make
to
everybody on
happen.
the same field, wouldn't it? Let's say you wanted to go into the esports tournament, but you've been playing Call of Duty on the Switch. You don't know an Xbox controller, so you could take your Switch, dock it, take your Joy-Cons off, you could still play it. You could play in your comfort zone. You wouldn't have to be limited to mouse and keyboard, Xbox controller, PlayStation controller. Could we see it?
I don't see it happening. That's just me. I personally
I'd
don't
like to see
see
it happen. I'd like
any
to see
sort
a
of
tournament where you
esports
got.
event.
I'd like to see a tournament where you've got different systems lined up. Accessing it. I reckon it'd be interesting.
Don't know. Anyway,
Like you said, you only need internet.
yeah, true.
But yeah, anyway, that's going to wind us up, guys. Again, today's show, all about respect. Show respect to your fellow man, your fellow person. Just reach out, show some concern, show some respect to the industry that we're all a part of. Nothing like good banter, good backwards and forwards, and playing around and having a good joke about things. But, at the end of the day, as long as it's not done in an offensive manner and taken out of context and pushed, I mean, there's no problem, right?
Don't be a bunch
think
of
about
Karens and Kevins.
What's today? Halloween, where we accept people dressed as weird and wonderful things, wacky and weird stuff happening. And what do? We still accept them and we give them treats.
Even though there's a hella pagan sort of thing
can't
around
we?
it. But anyway.
Right. But the theory is people come knocking on your door randomly. You talk to them, you accept them in there, you give them treats. Be nice to your fellow man. Pretty much. That's what it's about.
One of these years, I'm just going to open the door, scream, and just throw candy out the door. Just just leave me alone.
Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it as always. Don't forget, if you want to come and join us on the show, make sure you join the Discord. And come and join us. Make sure you follow our Twitter, and also video will be up on YouTube later on. Again, we are trying to get that custom URL, so please make sure you hit the subscribe button up there and the bell icon, or down there, wherever the thing is. Do the things on the YouTube.
You'll find it.
And we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we've got some more interesting news we can top off, and we'll see you on the next one.
Well,
be safe, be good. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.